This is the Bunny Slippers Are Evil Job Seekers Call-In Show. And now, a word from our sponsors. Evil Bunny Consulting is the job search alternative to expensive outplacement. For more information, go to bunnyslippersareevil.com. Let 3dresumes.net turn your resume into a web page with a customized domain for 12 months for only $30. Help hiring managers and recruiters find you and make your resume available 24/7 and get a free professional email address just for your job search. You can see my online resume at tyronegriffin.com, and to get your own, go to 3dresumes.net. If you are thinking or about to look for a job in today's world, you will find a new reality in the job search process. The world has changed. Job search today is much more complicated than 5 years ago. Volumes of resumes, more applicant screening systems, depersonalized applications, panel interviews, team hiring, long, complicated applications, branding, and social media. Yes, the world has changed. But have you? Are you still trying yesterday's approach? Why struggle and miss out on today's opportunities? Career Oyster is here to help. Great coaches, the latest resources, unique strategies, person tailored to your job search. Find out the new reality and how you can prevent costly mistakes. To register for a free 45-minute private lesson with Howard Caddy, go to careeroyster.com. Find the facts now. You'll be glad you did. Remember their motto, the world is your oyster, be the pearl.
Wow, this technology is crazy.
Wow, this technology.
Hey, there you go.
Hey,
There you go.
Like,
Okay,
whoa,
we
it's
did
all
it
the way
right.
up in there.
We did it right.
Yeah, okay. Now let me
Hold
Right,
on,
let
I'm
me get
on
my
my iPad,
background
so
right.
it's like,
my background, right?
I know, right? That's why
I
everybody
know,
starts
right? That's
shifting
like
around so we look
everybody
right.
starts
Okay.
shifting around so we look
Okay.
right.
So
yeah, I'm
yeah.
like, hold on. I didn't realize it was gonna be that much like on my face, but hey, it is early in the morning, so
Oh God.
Good
whatever it is,
morning. Good
whatever it is.
morning.
Good
Hey,
morning.
good to
Good
see you in the
morning.
flesh.
I know, right? Technology is
I know,
the
right?
bomb.
Technology is
Let me say
the
this right
bomb.
now. You have a
Let me say
beautiful
this
smile.
right now. You have a beautiful smile.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I did
Yeah.
brush
So,
my
yeah.
teeth this morning.
So,
I did brush my
oh,
teeth.
you believe me?
Oh,
Believe me, I did too. I was like,
believe me,
okay,
I did
I
too.
don't want
I was like,
no
okay,
green
I don't
cloud
want
coming out
no
my mouth.
green cloud coming
Right,
out my mouth.
right. I didn't want you to start
Okay,
smelling
so
me through the phone.
Okay, so
that's wrong. That's wrong.
That's
Okay,
bad.
we go sit here and tell jokes for the next
we
half
gonna sit here
hour.
and tell jokes for the next half
Okay, so
hour.
let's break it
Okay,
down.
so let's break it down.
When you
Okay.
decided to leave the
When you
lifestyle,
decide to
what
leave
was
the
the first
lifestyle, what
major
was the
challenge
first major challenge
that you had?
that you had?
Setting it in my mind that I was actually leaving.
Really? How
Really?
long did you
Yeah.
think about it before
So
you
we're
actually
gonna
made the
have.
move?
You realize we're gonna have feedback, right?
Yeah, I know. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let me
We
figure
just
this
take a
out.
second
So
between.
we just take a second between.
Yeah. Hold on. What if I put?
Uh-huh.
Y'all, we figuring this out as we go now.
There, y'all.
If y'all got any recommendations, then y'all
Yeah.
can let us know how to do this right. So don't be over
I
there
know you
hating
ain't
on us
rocking
and not
green
give no
nail polish.
recommendations.
Green nail polish.
You
That's
rocking
my
green
favorite
nail
color.
polish.
You rocking green nail polish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Green is my favorite
Okay.
color.
Okay.
Oh, good. Okay, I hear you good through the screen now.
Okay.
Good to the screen now.
So
Okay.
yeah, I feel like with anything, it's about really setting it in your mind that you're actually going to make that change. You have to convince
Mm-hmm.
yourself before you can convince anyone else that you're determined to do something different than you've done before, especially if it's something that you're dynamically known for. Like, you definitely have
Mm-hmm.
to convince yourself, like, okay, this is something that I believe a lot of us want it, but we're not convinced that we can actually achieve it. So yeah, convincing myself that I was done, that I was ready for something different. I think
Mm-hmm.
that was the
Now,
hardest.
did you do a cold stop, or did you like slowly wean yourself out of the industry?
So what I initially tried to do was gradually um transition over from that life, and like I stopped doing scenes, but I was still doing
Mm-hmm.
appearances, and then I dabbled into the music a little bit because I was like, oh well, I already got a name. I love to write. I love music. I could do this rap thing. I could transition over into that. So I tried to do
Mm-hmm.
a transition, but it came down to a straight up like stop. You know,
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
So
Now I
yeah,
know the money was good.
yeah, the money was real good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
There's
that's
things
I
floating
can
around me.
imagine that's one of the huh? Like you said
No,
what?
go ahead. Yeah.
No, I
Yeah, the
said
money. I
that's
mean,
one
that
of the.
definitely the money. It's quick and easy money. You have a lot of people, especially in this day and age. You have people that will invest in you for doing absolutely nothing with yourself. Than when you're actually trying to do something with yourself. So, I mean,
Hmm.
people love sex, so people will pay for
Amen. Yeah.
it.
Okay. Sometimes you say something like I can't say nothing. All right, you're right. You got me. So anyway, so you say your biggest challenge was getting making that decision and doing it. Um,
Hmm.
so once you did step out, once you said, okay, I'm done, and now
Right.
the question becomes, okay, I got to find a job.
Yeah. Now that was hard.
How really? And I mean,
That was
what
very
about it was hard?
complicated. Every part of it. First of all, I hadn't had a job in over 10 years, like not a job where I'm actually going to punch someone else's
Hmm.
clock. So even to get it in my mental that I
Okay.
had to go punch someone else's clock was a lot. And then
Mm-hmm.
especially at the time I had a loft downtown Chicago. I was going to Columbia College. Um I had a baby on the way. I already had two children. So I had bills. I had bills that were
Hmm.
already set in place by my former profession. So I was trying to find a job that could keep up the means that I was already used to having. Of course, like rent is due, gas is due, lights are due, and I have to keep food on
Yeah.
the
Oh yeah.
table.
Oh yeah.
So,
Hmm.
I was looking for jobs and I'm like, man, and like um looking I'm sorry, this iPad isn't working out right for me. I wish we could have did it on the phone. But
I'm sorry.
but
You look good. You look good. Trust me.
well, thank you.
You look good.
So looking for a job, it was more like I was like, man, okay, what job is gonna pay? I was paying over $2,000 a month for just rent to live downtown Chicago. I had a school bill. I had, like I said, I had things that I was, already obligated to. So I'm looking for jobs, but me looking at the jobs, I'm like, well, I don't qualify for these jobs. So at the time, even
Hmm.
I didn't realize what skill sets I already had developed from my previous
Hmm.
lifestyle, from other things that I've already done. So in all actuality, I really did. I doubted myself. I doubted my capabilities of being able to take on certain jobs. Um, and then at the same factor, a lot of jobs do require you to have degrees. But one of the things that we miss out on is knowing that everyone's not necessarily applying for those jobs that have those degrees. So sometimes you can get those jobs without the degree,
Hmm.
especially if you have favor. You're gonna get the
There
job
you go.
without the
There
degree.
you go.
So
There you go.
um so at first it was more like, okay, so where do I go work? So the very first job that I did end up getting, it was in a call center and it was making absolutely nothing. Like, I mean, it was making something, but it wasn't making. And it was
Hmm.
crazy because I remember like going in for orientation and the other people, like, they were like, oh, this job is like a blessing. It's so hard to get in here. And
Hmm.
you're making, and I think it was making like $9 an hour or something. I was like, I can't even pay a portion of my bills with like, but I
Yeah.
stayed and I kept
Uh huh.
going and I was getting those checks while I was still looking for something else. And I was just
Right.
like, oh my goodness. And then there were different facilities in the Chicago, because at the time I was living in Chicago. So there was different facilities that supposedly helped people like me,
Hmm.
that were pretty much sex workers, and they were trying to transition. But then when I went into those facilities, I realized those facilities weren't accustomed to me. They were accustomed to something different. And then there was also just real quick, I had a young man that worked for one of the facilities that tried to make a
Hmm.
move on me. Now he didn't know my past. He just knew I was caught up in that organization. So therefore
Right.
I must have been
Right.
something, but he didn't
Something.
realize like the depths of it. And he kept throwing
Hmm.
roadblocks on like these big jobs that I was really like ComEd, Nightcore, Verizon, like big companies that I was looking like, oh, if I could get
Hmm.
that job, like, oh my goodness, that'd be a blessing for me.
Right.
But he was throwing a roadblock in, like basically wanted me to sleep with him for the job. And at that time, I was just like, you know what? When I get on, I'm gonna find a way to make an organization to help women for real and not put them in
Right.
a worse predicament. So that's pretty much
Situation,
where
right.
I'm at now.
Well, that's good. I imagine that kind of thing of if people find out who you used to be, they get a different perspective.
Hmm.
You
But
know,
even in his case, it wasn't. He just knew that if I was caught up with that organization, then I must have been like a
hmm
sex worker or something. He more than likely
right,
assumed that I was like a streetwalker or just an escort or something. He didn't know the
right,
dynamics of it. He just assumed
hmm
and figured, oh, she must be weak, because that's what a lot of people assume, that you
hmm
must be weak if you're
right,
in that profession, and that's not necessarily true neither.
yeah. Yeah, we had that conversation. I mean, we're not going to go into it now, but I think just, some of those strongest people are in that situation. And later on, we're going to talk about what Nicole B. Enterprises actually is, because I know you're doing some stuff, and I want to make sure that you
Yeah.
get, because like you said, people in that situation, the resources are there, but they're not really there to help certain types of people.
Right.
But you talk about the resources. Are there any resources, or did you were able to find any resources that were specifically um, for helping people in your situation?
After I did
hmm
realize that there were more, probably more if I would have stayed on the West Coast, the resources were more
Uh-huh.
available. But I do see now that there are resources available, like I said, more on the West Coast, because that is where most
Right.
of adult film stars do, you know, reside. So there are
hmm
different resources over that way.
hmm Okay. Now, one thing you did mention is that when you got out, you were already in school and things like that. Let's go back to the point where you made the decision. If you could go back, what would you have done anything different from the time you made the decision or before even? What would you have done different to get yourself out and get yourself more situated?
Um, the honestly, I closed down everything. So when
hmm
I decided that, you know what, I don't want to take part in this
hmm
lifestyle anymore, I closed down everything. So I allowed my domain to let go. I closed down my Twitter
hmm
page. I did close down my Facebook. Anything like
hmm
that, like, I had ownership of it, and I allowed it to,
Right.
expire out.
So just let
From
right.
that,
hmm
there's a fake Twitter page that has more followers than me, utilizing that name, that causes a lot of disasters, because a lot of people follow
hmm
that name. From that,
hmm
someone else bought my domain, and they were able to keep a page going up with that domain,
Right.
for several years. Up until recently, it is available, I think. I don't know, but it costs a lot of
hmm
money. So now it's like, do I even want it at this point? Um,
Yeah.
so I would have. I think I would have been, like when I first closed everything down, I closed everything down with the expectations that I was basically going to disappear. I've never imagined to be at this point in my life where you and I will be having this conversation, and you're even a tad bit
hmm
interested about my life, or even to the point where now I go out and I do speaking engagements and I mentor the people. I really just thought I was
hmm
closing it down, going about my life, and hey, that was that, right? Um,
hmm
but it wasn't until I finally went public and came out and verbally said, like, hey, this is what's going on,
hmm
but it took me to get blasted all over the internet saying I was pregnant by a famous rapper for me to even be forced to that position. I just really went quiet. And so
hmm
I don't know if I really don't know if I would do anything different other than not let go of my stuff, because I do realize now that other people, that gave people
hmm
a doorway to come in and control pretty much a part of my transformation. Because if you can still Google and find Jasmine on internet, or if you can still Google and you see a Twitter page that's very active, you will assume that the transformation never took place, and that's definitely false.
That's a
So
good point.
anybody
That's a
thinking
good
about
point.
quitting, don't let go of your domain, don't let go of your Twitter. Come off for a while until you get your mind right, figure out
uh-huh.
where you want to be,
Yeah.
but don't let it go yet, because
Yeah.
definitely, as we know, the same way the enemy will use social media and the internet, God will also. So, those are definitely
Mm-hmm.
platforms that you may be able to come back and utilize later, to promote
Yeah.
goodness
Yeah. Well,
instead of
and it's a
badness.
whole lot cheaper to hold on to it than to let it go.
Yeah, it definitely is a whole lot cheaper to hold on to it.
Yeah, cheaper. Okay. So you went back to school while you were still in. You started school before you actually fully left.
Yeah, I had already, cause this is what I started doing, right? So I started making like little bargains with God. So I was living in
Mm-hmm.
California, and at the time I had a lot going on. I had guardianship with joint guardianship with my brother. We took on my sister's kids who were going through some things at the time, and that burden did become very heavy, because it left me to go out to do, constantly be working while my brother was basically at home with the kids, because we went from my two
Mm-hmm.
kids to now four children, so it was a lot harder to get babysitters and stuff. So, and at the same time, like my brother, he just came home from serving a bid, so he was out trying to find a job. So it was just really complicated. Things were going real. It just was
Mm-hmm.
like a real hard time. So I started like finding myself like praying. I started asking God, like, look, man, this bird, like I really got tired of traveling. I got tired of like,
Mm-hmm.
man, I have to go do this thing because I have so many people counting on me to get it done.
Right.
Um, I remember I was out doing like a video signing with another young lady, and we was doing like a tour, and my brother gave me a call. Now I just paid the rent. My rent at the time was like $3,200 a month. So then my brother called me and was like, man, the people just came talking about the owner of the house has been in foreclosure and we gotta move. And I'm like, what? Like, I mean, it's just like, what? What am I supposed to do now? I'm all the way in New York. I already got a contract signed
Mm-hmm.
to do this video tour. I can't leave.
Right.
So all I could do was like, I'm gonna send you the money, man. Go find us a new home. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what you're gonna find
Yeah. Right.
when,
Right.
but
Right.
I'm trusting. Here go the money, even though the landlord kept lying about it. But so it was like little goofy stuff that kept happening. And I just was like, man, God, what you trying to say? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Uh-huh.
is there ever a way for me
Uh-huh.
to actually get up? So I started
Right.
making like little bids, and I was like, man, I always wanted to go to Columbia College. So I was like, man,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna apply, and God, if you get me in, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I'll move back to Chicago. Like little
Okay.
stuff like that.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
I got in, and then I was like, I always wanted a loft downtown Chicago. So God, if you give me approved for this loft, man, if
Uh-huh.
you get me approved, I slow
Mm-hmm.
down, and I just
Uh-huh.
kept making my look, y'all, hey, y'all don't be looking
Right.
at me crazy, because I know a lot of y'all to be up in the penitentiary. Lord, if you would allow them to release me, I promise I'll go to church with my mama. I promise. If you give me this job, I promise. So we all make our little
Mm,
bids with God. And the bad
yes, we
thing
do.
is,
Yes,
though,
we do.
I was saying the bids, but I didn't really put them in motion because I got those things and I still was moving along with the same things that I was doing. Not as much, maybe because time
Right.
didn't allow it, but
Right.
I still was doing it.
Hmm. Well, let me be clear. It seems like your whole motivation really was to support your family.
Yeah. I wanted to be able to
Pretty much.
provide
Yeah.
for my family. My
Hmm.
family, as in my children, my sister, my brother. He was a hustler himself, so I didn't have to provide for him until he got locked up, and then he came home. But then
Hmm.
he always found a way to provide for
Yeah.
himself.
Yeah. Well, we all got
So
them relatives. We all got them in the
yeah,
family. We
but
do.
even
We
him
do.
though,
You know what?
I was talking to him
Hmm.
because like even I just love how God does things, because my brother, he's not in that life no more neither. He like that's why,
Hmm.
like, when you do hear me speak, I do speak about drug dealers and strippers, and I'm talking about things that I know
Hmm.
for sure. I'm not talking about things I'm
Right.
making assumptions on. So
Right.
like even my brother the other day, he was out visiting, and I asked him because I knew we were about to have this interview, right? So because
Right.
like I don't this interview is a little bit different than other interviews, because we are speaking to
Mm-hmm.
people that are in that lifestyle. And anyone that is
Mm-hmm.
actually listening that's in that lifestyle, as far as like your only means to pay your bills right now is you do got a pack sitting in your drawer. You do
Right.
got that thing
Right.
sitting up in there. You might have to go, you feel like you have to go stick it to somebody's head in order to pay your bills. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, even I remember
Right.
my
Right.
heart was broken a few years ago when the young man went to go rob the bank because his child needed a heart transplant or something. Those situations
Mm-hmm.
are real life. We read
Yeah.
about them, but it's true. They happen. You know, but in all
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
honestly, you can leave those situations behind. You might
Mm-hmm.
not have you. Yeah, I can't ride the way I used to ride. I can't travel the way I used to travel. But the peace
Mm-hmm.
that you have inside, the mind, the freedom in your mind, where it's like, I now, like, even my brother was saying, he was like, man, I could ride by the police and not look at them, not even care about them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
that
I know what
alone
you're
is
saying. I know what you're
freedom.
saying.
That alone
Well,
is
I will say
freedom.
this. I will say this. I've never been locked up, but when I ride by the police, I get nervous.
Well, now we get
I
nervous
don't
because
know
it's all
what
public on how they out here just killing people for no apparent
Yeah,
reason, especially if you're black.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
um,
yeah,
but
and
besides
I'm
that,
black,
though,
so
you're
yeah,
not you're
yeah, no,
concerned on another
yeah,
level. Not that, oh man, I know I got this
yeah.
thing tucked up
No,
under the
I hear you.
seat. I got a pack in the trunk. I got a pound. I got a kilo.
Mm-hmm.
You're not worried about those things.
Mm-hmm. Right,
So
right, right.
that makes a big difference.
It
So.
does. It does. It does. Yeah. You know what? And it's so many things I want to talk about. Some things you said about marketable skills, and that's
Mhm.
something I think a lot of people don't think about when you're interviewing, or as somebody who's interviewed people, where you work. Okay, let me back up. I look at job search like dating, and it might sound crazy, but
Okay.
my point is this: you just trying to find that one person. Right?
Right.
When you hiring somebody, you trying to find that one person. Now, and think about how people do is they come with your resume, and this is a little off campus, but people do their resume and they say, I work here, 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 and here. If you're looking to go date somebody, is the first thing you tell them all the people you dated? No. You tell them,
Mm-mm.
here's what I bring to the table. Here's my marketable
Right.
skills. Now,
Mhm.
in that lifestyle, it's what you have to think about is okay, what is like you alluded to it. What are the marketable skills that you
Right.
developed in that, and then you can transition to a new job. Now, one thing
Right.
I admire you, like you said, you went back to school,
Mhm.
and you were thinking then about your post career.
Right.
You were thinking about what am I going to do next in in my life, because this is not going to
Right.
last forever. And so
And I was
many.
over 30 going back to school. At that too. I was over 30
Okay,
going back to
yeah,
school.
uh-huh, yeah, oh yeah,
That
oh
was
yeah, and
hard because I'm sitting in the
yeah, because
classroom with a bunch of young people, and I'm probably like one of the oldest. Luckily for me, I wasn't
uh-huh,
always the oldest, but I
yeah,
was one of the oldest.
yeah,
So you have
oh
to
yeah,
humble
oh yeah,
yourself. So, like, even for instance, okay, so when I was in the industry, I did have my own business. So I had it, Forbidden Entertainment. It was a LLC, right?
mm-hmm.
So what I did
Right,
was, this is something that I did, and something that if I was to even go take on a job at this moment, um, Forbidden Entertainment is a job that I used to work at
mm-hmm.
from this amount of time to that amount of time.
Right,
Um, and I broke down what I did. So one of the things that I did, I used to book girls. I used to book girls on to do appearances, right? So one of the
right,
jobs that I know how to do, I know how to I should have had my resume like sitting in front of me or something. But I just basically took those job sets. I took them job skills and I put it
right,
down on my resume. So it got to the point though, where now when someone looks at my resume, they're like, whoa. Like even last year, I was looking for a job, um, just for a temporary thing, and the lady looked and she was like, "You might be overqualified," and it,
mm-hmm.
it and it gets to like you have to look. So like for instance, like so you have the street. You say you have somebody that's a street dealer, right? One of the things that you underestimate, like so we get in our mind like, oh, I don't want to go punch somebody's clock. Well, you don't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily have to go punch somebody's clock. First of all, you might have
Right.
other talents. If you have that talent, that ambition to get up on your own without someone telling you or giving you
Right.
instruction, you know, a lot of people
Right.
don't realize that alone is a huge job skill, because there's people that's been working
Mm-hmm.
the same job forever and they cannot make a move without their boss giving them instruction to do it. So
Right.
if you know how to
Right.
get up and make a move without someone giving you actual instruction, that's a job skill. So you could go ahead, like for myself, like I did. I started off working jobs and now I'm basically in business for myself. So I basically took the
Mm-hmm.
skills that I had previously and turned into a
Mm-hmm.
business. So you might have to, you know, like my t-shirts. This is my t-shirts. I design it, I send it off to somebody else to press it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's a job skill. You change the product, you don't change the hustle. But
Mm-hmm.
utilize the job skills that you have. You know how to stay organized, right? You know how to stay on
Mm-hmm.
task. Those are like some of the
Right.
main
That
things that people
exactly.
want to know.
Exactly.
Can I
Exactly.
trust you? You know, and you can't tell me
Mm-hmm.
that people around here can't get a job because you have a record, because I know people that have a record and they're making over 20, 30,
Yes.
$40 an hour. So
Mm.
it all comes down to you walk into the
Yeah.
job interview with confidence, not arrogance, not no, man, you
Mm-hmm.
finna give me this job, but with
Mm-hmm.
confidence that, man, I know I can do it. You know, I know I can.
Mm-hmm.
And me personally,
Yep.
that's where I got to. I realized, like, man, I'm going for these jobs that I know are not going to pay my bills.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why would
Mm-hmm.
you? Like, even if someone's listening right now and you're at a job, I don't care if you've been in a lifestyle or not. If you're sitting at a job that you know does not uh, pay your bills, go find you a job that does, because they are there. Or at least get you
Mm-hmm.
a side hustle. Like, go design a shirt,
Mm-hmm.
color some shoes. There's too many opportunities to make money out here these days.
Mm-hmm.
The entrepreneurs are rising. Social media is showing that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not talking about get half naked on those social media and thinking if you get enough likes, they're gonna pay you for it. That's not it.
Right.
Do something else. There's
Mm-hmm.
too many
Amen.
opportunities to
Amen.
do things.
Amen. Now let me
Did I
ask you this
answer
question. You
your
probably kind
question?
of answered it, but how? Yeah, you did. Good. How has your faith sustained you? This is the question I want to get to. How has your faith sustained you through all of this, ups and downs?
My faith is, so you, because we kind of touched bases on this a little bit. So
Yeah.
it's kind of hard, like when you already gave that power answer, you know. Um, my faith has only gotten stronger. There's things,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, like even down to really taking a look at what I've already accomplished. Not old people know who I am, but as in, man, I really was doing these things. You know, like I do know how to book a flight and, you know, negotiate contracts. I was writing contracts,
Mm-hmm.
so I had to stop and look.
Turn
Man,
your
wait a minute,
camera a
I
little
did
bit.
this.
Turn your camera. There you go. Okay.
There, okay.
Not too much. Right
So,
there.
you
There
know,
you go. Okay.
I had to stop downgrading myself. You know, and pretty much
Mm-hmm.
like, because the enemy will try to manipulate you that the only thing you are good for is those things that you were
Mm-hmm.
doing. So the enemy will try to manipulate you that the only thing that you can accomplish in life is to go pick up that pistol and go rob the store, or to go
Right.
grab that pack and feed the poison to your own people in order to pay your bills.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so the enemy will manipulate you. So, you know, I started getting to the point where it was like, man, God didn't allow me to come this far for me to come just this far. You know, so I had to
Right.
take a look at the things. And then I'm not gonna lie though, it took me really having a strong a strong conversation with a Muslim, with one of my Muslim buddies, right? So we're
Mm-hmm.
not a Muslim, you know, I said that wrong. But either which way go, a man that practices the Muslim belief. And he was saying, you
Mm-hmm.
know, because a lot of people was like, well, why does it have to be Christianity? And, you know, of course, he was giving me the books and telling me all of this stuff. And he, you know, he was a little shocked that I did know what I did know. But he made a point. He was like, you know, one of the things about uh the Muslim belief is they utilize the things that you did out in the world and they utilize it for the
Right.
kingdom. And he was
Mm-hmm.
saying, you know, if you a killer in the world, you're gonna be a killer over here. if you a businessman in the world, you're gonna be a businessman over here. This is what you're gonna do. So I started looking at, well, what job skills do I have that I utilize in the world, that I can utilize over here. So that's what I did. I started, paying attention to that. And then I started reading in scriptures where it just bagged it up. And then at the time, like, I knew about the Apostle Paul, but I really didn't know enough about the Apostle Paul. But honestly, once I really read about and got it stuck in my mind about how Saul was out killing Christians, and now he became a spokesperson for the Christians, and
Full
now he
circle,
wrote
right?
more than enough of the New Testament, where he's acknowledged as Apostle Paul, and you can't even really claim him as Saul. I was like, oh, I know God can utilize me then, because I ain't killed nobody. You know what I'm saying? So I know he can utilize me. He had the
Okay.
prostitute Mary standing at the cross with him when he was crucified. So I know he
Yeah.
could utilize me. He utilized the tax collector, so I know he could utilize me. He utilized the drunk
There
to
we go.
save the 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. So I know he could utilize me. So God utilized me. He could utilize you. He could utilize anyone.
Amen.
So
Amen. So now let me ask you this hard question. What is Nicole B. Enterprises?
the Kobe Enterprises is so many things, but dynamically, I am that person. So one of the things that I do is insurance and investments. Okay. So that is my business. That is the company I'm under, umbrella, whatever, however you want to say. I'm not a broker, but I am an insurance and investments agent. So you got to have good leadership. Let's just say that. Shout out to my leadership. So one of the ways that I utilize that is, like we were mentioning, I did not have an escape plan when I left. So I do acknowledge that a lot of women, and even men, because I've had conversations with the men as well, they're not to that point where, like, oh, I'm ready to leave. I'm not ready to give up yet.
Right.
It takes a lot of strength. So I basically get with those people and help design them exit strategies with the profession that I'm in
Okay.
now. So I help design them exit strategies, as well as the people that have left and they're sitting around like, oh my goodness, I don't know what to do. I help find them jobs. Sometimes I'm able to provide them jobs. So if you are looking for a job, no matter if you're in the Chicago area or not, email me, NicoleBEnterprises@gmail.com. So, yeah, that's my plug. So, I am able to provide them jobs or help them develop at least a resume to help find them jobs, to really like get an understanding. So like if you and I were to have a conversation and I'll have you really like get real transparent with me, what is it that you've done before? Now these are your job skills. And a lot of times people are like, wow, because they're like, they don't realize that they had those job skills. And if I'm not able to help you, I will try to find other resources that are able to help you. So that was one of the things that I kept having to hang up on when I did get to the point where I was like, man, trying to go to these resources. They were like, oh, well, you don't qualify. So okay, so who do I qualify for? I have to qualify for someone, so I never want to be that organization that just says, oh, you don't qualify for me, bye, get out my face, go somewhere else, hope you figure it out. So
Right.
if you don't qualify for me, I at least want to be able to help you find someone that you do qualify for. So that's one of the many things, as well as I have my t-shirts, I have my clothing line that I'm also designing, and really the clothing, the t-shirts help provide, because I do other ministries, movements, however it makes you feel better. But we get out, we feed the homeless people, we clothe the homeless people, we have brunches, not just for the homeless people but for domestic abused women, and believe it or not, we getting some men too, but that's a whole nother show. Because men are domestically abused as well. And mentoring young people, same aspect as with the other people in the industry. You teach them how, one of the skills that they really don't teach our young people in school is how to secure yourself where you're not put in a position where you have to be out there trying to strip on a pole to pay for college, or selling drugs, or sticking people up, or whatever, the situation might be.
Mm.
So educating
Wow.
them.
Wow.
You busy.
Yeah,
You
I
are
need a
busy.
couple more me's, if anything.
Well, we haven't even talked about those commercials you do for the Chicago Athletic Club.
I don't do no stop. I
You
do
know,
not. I do not. I
you be
get people.
you
I keep
you be
getting
killing
people
it.
that ask me that. I get people
You
that
be
ask me
killing
that,
it
like,
now.
won't you be a personal trainer? Because I don't have time to be a personal trainer. You trying to add something else to the look? I'm already a
Nah,
licensed
you
cosmetologist. Don't do hair.
okay. Oh wow, okay. Nah, you be killing it. I all kidding aside,
I
but
love
you
to
know, like
work
I
out, but
told
I
you,
work out for health.
yeah.
Mm.
Oh, you be killing it. Nah,
Thank you.
yeah, that's
Thank
all I can
you.
say. You be killing it. You be killing it. But speaking of your faith, and I don't want to hold you too much longer, but the reason I started following you was because of your faith, because of your walk, because of
Okay.
seeing the things that you were posting. Um, and like I told you, I mean, I wanted to talk to you because I just admired the walk and the journey that you've taken, and you've taken it honestly. You don't
Mhm.
sugarcoat. You don't because sometimes people they try to forget who they were or what they've done,
Right.
and try to, well, I'm this, I'm that's, and try to look down on people, and from everything I've read that you posted, you never did that, and I admire that and I appreciate that, and you seem like a
Right.
real cool person on top of that.
I'm alright,
you know
every now and
you
again. Depends
you're
on who
really
you asking.
no, but is there? I mean, as I said before, I appreciate your time. Is there anything that I haven't asked that you wanted to get across? Like I told you, I wanted you to be able to this video. I wanted this to be something that people who are looking for you, who want your services, Nicole B Enterprises, and the people you mentor, that they can look at and go, oh yeah, okay, that's what she's talking about. Is there anything that
Mhm.
you wanted to say that I haven't given you the opportunity to talk about? I know, loaded
I
question,
just
right?
really want to elaborate that there is no favoritism in God's grace. There's no
Mm-hmm.
favoritism at all. We all were designed by the same hands. We were all um kissed by the same lips to be able to
Amen.
breathe the
Amen.
same air.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter. Like, I get people to be like, oh well, you can't be saved. Well, I am saved. So if I can be saved, if you think
Mm-hmm.
I am like the dirtiest of the earth, if I am the worst that you can come by, and God can give me grace and mercy, then he can give you grace and mercy as well. Never underestimate the grace and mercy that you can have from your creator.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the things that I really want to elaborate. It's not about, like, you and I were talking the other day, and you were like, yeah, but your strength. But my strength was developed over trials and tribulations. My strength came from me being able to get over things, but I haven't been able to get over these things alone. It wasn't my strength at all. There was a time
Right.
where I was timid. There was a time where I was suicidal. There was a time where, I would walk into a place and was like, I had to be dolled up because I felt like that's what I had to be. There was a point where I was insecure and very, and there are times even now where, like, the enemy will try to come to me and be like, Nicole, you ain't got this. But I thank
Mm-hmm.
God that he'll give me a scripture, he'll give me a word, he'll give me somebody and reassurance, like, no, Nicole, you got this. So don't ever underestimate the strength that God has deep in you, whether or not you see it in the
Mm-hmm.
reflection that you're looking at now. It's there.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to keep striving. You have to keep pushing forward. You cannot give up. Like I said in the beginning, it comes into a transformation of your mindset. That's one of the reasons why Romans
Mm-hmm.
12:2 is one of my favorite scriptures. Once I read that scripture, I was like, that's it right there. It's renewing of your
Mm-hmm.
mind. It starts in your mind. If you do not believe it for yourself, no one else, you cannot convince anyone else. So you have to get to the point where you're like, man, I don't care what these people got to say about me. I don't care how many people try to throw stones at me. Long as God has me in his favor, as long as he has me held up in his bosom, then there's nothing that anybody else can do. You know, it
Mm-hmm.
is like we was talking about, man, you gotta want it more than air itself. You have to get to the
Yes.
point where it's like, I
Yes.
don't care what I lose. And you're going to lose. Whenever you're trying to progress in life, you're going to lose. You may lose everything. I lost friends. I lost my home. I lost cars. I lost everything. I almost felt as though I was going to lose my mind at times. But my faith, the strength that I
Mm-hmm.
have in God remained. And that's what got me to where I am today. So he could
And
do
you
it
know
for me.
what?
He could do it for you.
Mhm. On that point, you always had it. It wasn't where you got it and then you lost it and then you got it back. From our conversation, you always had faith. And that's what I think people don't realize, that even no matter what you've done, you've always had your faith. Now,
Mm.
I had one last question I was going to ask you. Going forward, now I know there are challenges when you first come out of life, but then going forward, I imagine you have issues where people recognize who you used to be
Mm-hmm.
and don't think about who you are, and they try to address you as you used to be. You know, like you going for job interviews and things like that, or
I've never got approached like in a job interview. I have gotten approached
right.
on the job, which is one of the reasons why I love my profession now in insurance and investments,
Working for
Nicole B.
yourself, right?
Jones.
Right.
Hit me up. So so
That's
yeah, so
good. There
like
you go. That's how
I
you do
did
it.
for me and for me and the profession that I came out of, it was complicated for me to go sit at someone else's
Mm-hmm.
desk. Like I had people leaving me notes on my car. I had people leaving notes at the office I used to work in. It was like a warehouse, but I was working in the inbound outbound call center part, where I was like
Mm-hmm.
checking in and out the truckers and stuff. And at times like truckers would come in, and I could tell when people like recognize me. So there'd be times like a
Right.
trucker come in and be like, here's my number, like, and I was like, oh my goodness, like no. And then a lot of times, you can't make an assumption because sometimes they just like attracted to you. So they might be, you
Yeah.
know, but then
Yeah.
I had people all of a sudden like emailing me on Facebook, like, oh my goodness, I was watching you today while you was working. So that started creeping me out. So yeah, I did end up leaving that job because I felt like my safety was in harm's way because this person wouldn't make themselves known. They kept making these fake
uh,
pages, and then someone else was leaving notes to the girls. They would never leave a note to me, but they would always leave a note to the other girls, which made them suspicious. Like, well, why? Well, who is she that they keep,
right.
leaving these
Right.
notes for her and stuff? So
Mm-hmm.
that was more like a matter of safety. Um, so I've
Yeah.
I've had those situations. I do get approached every now and again. One day I was going in a beauty supply store, and the mailman, matter of fact, was like, "Oh my God, can I take a picture with you?" But I'm very transparent, so I never deny who I was or what I was doing. I feel like anyone that's coming from that, it's in your best interest not to deny it. First of all, Google tells all. So you can sit and be like, oh
Mm-hmm.
no, that wasn't me. But before you even say
Mm-hmm.
me, they've already, no, this is you. This is you, right? This is you. Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
like, so
Right.
you can't deny it, even if you
Right.
wanted to. The whole, it's a process to your journey. So allow it to be part of your journey. Don't allow it to be who you are. It's not your destination. It's part of your journey. So we've all done scribbled outside the lines a few times. Some of us scribbled a little bit more, some of us scribbled a little bit less, but it's just a
Mm-hmm.
process of the journey. But don't allow it
Yep.
to be your final destination. Embrace it as a lesson learned and move on.
Mhm. I don't think any of us remember that movie, The Truman Show, where the dude, where Jim Carrey was a baby and they had watched him his whole life on TV.
Oh, yeah.
I can speak for me. If somebody had been watching me for my whole life,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we won't go there. So nobody can, in my opinion, nobody can look down on nobody because none of us are Jesus, number one. So we've all done things that maybe we're not as proud of. Maybe we're not,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? So I feel you on that. I feel you. This has been great, and I appreciate your time. I
Well, thank you.
appreciate
I
your
appreciate
candor. I
the
appreciate
honor
it.
of you having me on your show.
And now I'm gonna put this question I always ask to all of my guests: will you come
Okay.
back? If we could come up with
Yes.
something else to talk about, will you come back? You will.
Yes, definitely.
Good. Okay. So now you could take the
Yeah,
phone
I hung it
call
up.
is done. Yeah, so we could take that out and just talk right on time.
Yeah, I hung
But
it up.
seriously, all kidding aside, and I keep saying this to you, I am so thankful and appreciative of your time.
Well, thank you.
Like I said, I followed you, not like a stalker, but I followed you, your journey, and it is a beautiful thing. And I hope that other people will see your journey and it will give them strength. And I think it will. You're a powerful woman.
Well, thank you.
And more than just, I
Only
mean,
by
you
God's
got some
strength.
guns. You got some guns because every once in a while you be in the gym like, look at these guns, you know.
I
But
put my coat on because I was like, I didn't want people to be looking at my guns. No, I'm just messing with you.
yeah, yeah, you got some. Like I said, I see you in the gym. You go do something and be like, yeah, like I'm Diesel. Like, okay,
Oh no,
but
I don't
but
be
but
doing all
seriously,
that.
you be lifting some weights. I gotta give it to you. You know, you make me tired looking. I'm like,
Have
really?
you have you ever seen any of the videos with my husband?
No, where they at?
Oh, they on there. I shoot him every now and again. He don't have to go
Oh,
to the gym as much as me because he got that what we call season muscle. So he only got to go like one time and he be walking around like he a big dude.
yeah.
So
Them old
hey,
muscles. Okay,
look, when I
I
look at
get
something like that, it give me motivation. Like, you know what? I wasn't gonna go to the gym today, but now that you done got up, I think I will.
you. Yeah, we
Now
had
that
that
I see that,
conversation too. We were talking about rejection, and you were saying when you were in the gym. That remember that conversation we had about rejection,
yeah.
about somebody. Yeah, because I know some people go to my gym, and I'm like, they come once a month, and they
Mhm.
like, bam, I'm in here every day, 6 in the
Yeah.
morning,
Like it's
and
one young lady, she just started working out like in January. And she coming, I mean, her progress is amazing, but her dedication is phenomenal. So I was like,
Mm.
oh man, hold on. Let me step my game up, man. Let me step my game.
Let me tell you something. You should try that hot yoga. That's all I'm gonna say. Try it once.
Yeah. I think about it. I
Well,
don't know
look,
how to add nothing else to it. I don't know how to add nothing else to it.
we don't got totally off topic, but thank you.
I know
I'm gonna call
somebody
you back.
asking, what's the topic? Life?
Yeah, it's from a life to a life with style. But you know what? You
Right.
touched on a whole lot of things on job search and resumes, and I didn't know any of that you were in that because that's the kind of stuff that I do too. So we definitely need to talk about that because
Yeah.
yeah, about
A
building
lot of people
resumes,
don't
about
even
writing
realize like
LinkedIn.
the job skills that they have.
Yeah,
And it's like that's
yeah.
basically what people want to know. Can you function with this task? That's what they want to
Can you
know.
do? And here's a
Can you
here's a
do it?
quick tip I heard from a career coach about interviewing. You know, how people go into
Mm-hmm.
the interview and you've been in an interview and they go through your resume. They're going down your resume. Tell me about this job. Tell me about this job. And you sit there and you talk. And then they have to translate what you told them to what they
Mm-hmm.
need, which is a problem.
Right.
Said a simple way to do that. And a career coach named Howard Caddy, I've had him on the show a couple of times. He gave me this tip. He said, you just ask the question. You say, before we get started, can you tell me what are the 3 or 4 things the successful candidate has to do to be successful in this role? And it sounds like a simple question, but what happens is they will tell you exactly what they need. Forget the job description. They will tell you the things that keep them up at night. They will tell you the 3 or 4 things that they're like, I need somebody to do this, 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 and this. And then you
Right.
spend the rest of the interview addressing, you sit there and write down what they say. And then you spend the rest of the interview addressing exactly what they said. And that, well, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. So that they don't have to do that translation. When you get up
Right.
from that interview, they know this person can do this, this, and this. These are the things I need.
Right.
Or this person
That's
can't
why
do them.
a lot of the jobs they have those character tests that they have you take
Yeah,
now. And that
yeah,
pretty much tells, well, how would you handle this situation?
yeah,
What would you do
yeah.
in
I
this?
think it,
Ready from,
exactly.
which answer do you feel like is the best to go about? And like you would look
Mm-hmm.
at like 3 of those answers, and like 3 of those answers seem like one of them is always one is like if you answer that, is something is definitely not gonna happen for you. But like at least 3 of them could be right. You're
Yeah,
like, well, I think I would tell Susie not to go ahead and steal the,
exactly. Right,
she should
right,
report it.
right.
But then you be
I think
like,
coming
well,
back to
no,
work,
who do you tell? Huh?
right, yeah. Mm-hmm. Or I
Yeah,
think coming
so
back to work with my gun is probably not a good thing.
Yeah, that was
And,
definitely not gonna get you future employment.
yeah,
Maybe in the lines room at Stateville Penitentiary it might, but other than
but
that,
you know what?
nah.
You make that point because I talked to somebody one time who had just got out of penitentiary and was looking for a job, and they were like,
Mm-hmm.
I got a 10-year hole in my resume. And what I told them, same thing you just said, don't shy away from your past. Be honest and open about it. But it comes down to what marketable skills. Like me, I've been in
Mm-hmm.
3 industries. I've been in healthcare, I've been in hospitality, and now I'm in technology. The reason I
Right.
was able to do that wasn't by plan, but the reason I was able to do that was I was able to have promote my marketable skills from this to this because everybody, no matter what industry, they need people that can count. So that's a
Not only
marketable
that
skill that
though,
you take from that to another.
not only that, you may have to start small.
Yeah.
Like even in my situation, my first job wasn't making the money that I wanted to make, but it was
Mm-hmm.
doing something. It was bringing in a little bit more. It was also getting me in the habit of going to punch somebody else's clock. you know, which
Mm-hmm.
I was not used
Right.
to. I was not used to, oh, wait
Mm-hmm.
a minute, I got to be at work at what time? Until what time?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. That alone was like killing me, so
Yeah.
it got me prepared for that job that was making more. And even now, like, I could get a job making no less than $20 an hour easily if I wanted to go punch somebody else's clock.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, for me, with everything else that I do, I don't have time to go punch somebody else's
Right.
clock. So I had to get a
Right.
little bit more creative outside of the to be able to
Mm-hmm.
come in and
Yeah.
bring an income into the household as well. So, and insurance and investments just works perfect for me. For one, you can't beat them, you might as well join them. So
There
I
you
was
go.
like,
There you go.
insurance is expensive, or at least so I thought, because our insurance really isn't all that expensive. You could get your hair and your
Mm-hmm.
nails done for a lot more. But just being able to provide those means to people that just are undereducated about that, this is something that you can have. You don't have to rely on a GoFundMe when it's time to bury
Yeah.
your spouse or your
Yeah.
children or whoever.
That's the new thing.
So
Somebody they do that. Yeah. Doing that
yeah,
GoFundMe and
GoFundMe
everything.
done got, and then y'all know GoFundMe get a nice little portion of that, right? So
See, I never I figured they was getting something to keep the lights
there,
on,
they
but
get a
yeah.
nice little, penny. You think they letting you put they stuff, you'll put your stuff up there, and they not getting nothing?
Well, see,
They
what's
getting
crazy
something.
is, and this is something that we people of color always have this. You get somebody who passes away, and you got to GoFundMe. But when the person was alive, they had a $4,000 car with $20,000 rims on it. You know what I'm saying? It's like they were spending,
Go in their house, they
and
got flat screen TVs. You know,
there you go, there you go. And we got all of
yeah,
this, but that's that idea of buying commodities versus assets. you know
yeah,
we spend money on the things that don't last, and that, I mean, that's
hmm,
that's a whole nother topic. But yeah.
yeah. That's a
But
whole
look,
nother.
yeah, because we as yeah, we're not gonna go there. I got my Kaepernick shirt on. That's I'm good. That'd be my political statement for the day. I got my Kaepernick shirt. I told you I was gonna wear that. Now, do
Yeah.
you have a business card you could hold up to the screen?
No, I don't have one with me. I
Oh,
have an old one. My new business cards just came in.
uh, I'm trying
Yeah,
to
I
trying to
don't
give
have
you
one
that
of my
last
new
little
ones
bit of
with me.
commercial.
Okay, but
Hmm.
that's fine though, because you can email me, Nicole B Enterprises at gmail.com, or you can email me at njones.financialservices at gmail.com. You can also follow me on Instagram, Nicole B Jones Davis, Twitter.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
I think I got some of those, but tell you what you do. Send me an email or a text message with all of it. And because what I'm going to do is when I post this to YouTube, I'm going to make sure I have links to all that.
Okay.
All
I think I did though. I think I sent
You
it to
probably
you.
did because I think
But
I
I
think I
sent
put
it
a
to
lot
you
of it in the
again.
flyer. I think I put a lot of
Yeah.
it on the flyer.
Yeah.
So we good. Well, look, this
So
has been a pleasure.
yeah, and then if you or someone else are in that transformation point in your life and you don't really know where to go or which way to go about getting there, hit me up. I must
Hmm.
warn you though, I do not consult men. So if you hit me up, I'm gonna send you over to brother right here or someone else. So, but if you are a young lady,
Is it?
a woman, a grown
Mhm.
woman, young woman, or any woman, you can hit me up.
Now, is it different? Serious question. Is it different for men trying to make that transformation? In your opinion? I mean,
I'm not
what's
a man. I'm not a man that made that transformation, so I wouldn't know that. I can only
you gonna send
speak
them to get?
for I can only speak for myself. Now I do know
Uh,
men that have made that transformation, and I do
mm-hmm.
think it's very hard for them just as well as it is for women.
Yeah.
You know, the only difference between a man and a woman is women, we're more emotional, so we're more verbal with our pain. Men are more like, I have
Yeah.
to hold it in because
Yep.
that's the manly thing to do. You know,
You
when
right.
men are confused,
Absolutely
like, look, we would stop and ask for directions. Y'all would keep driving around in circles. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to, though. There's a GPS,
You
there's
had
a
to go there.
compass of love for you. You don't have to drive around in
You
circles
had to go
anymore.
there. See,
Huh?
that's why we got GPS on our phone now. All right, so we ain't gotta ask nobody
What do you
now.
say?
We just put it on
That was
the phone.
designed by a man for a man,
There you go.
utilized by
There
women. Because I utilize my GPS. Like I have OnStar. They
Now,
like,
see,
oh well, you know. I was like, I don't need this service. I don't use y'all.
mm-hmm.
I just got a GPS on my phone. I don't need the OnStar service.
Ooh,
But they
yeah,
find a
that's
way to
right.
convince you to
See,
keep it.
oh
Somebody steal
yeah.
your
Now, see,
car.
I'm
That's
old
what
enough,
you need it for,
right?
huh?
To be able to track your car. I say, right. When somebody steal your car, but see, I'm old enough to remember MapQuest. You too young to remember that.
MapQuest. I remember MapQuest on your phone.
No, oh gosh, no. I remember Map because you had to print them out. You be sitting in the
Oh,
car with
okay,
all
yeah.
your paper.
I do remember
Mm-hmm.
MapQuest. First of all, I was doing a lot of traveling before GPS became relevant. So that's how I used to get to places. I used to print out. You'll be driving, looking like, hold on, wait a minute. It said in three
Yep.
miles, you got to turn. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I remember MapQuest.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We just
Yeah.
aging ourselves up in here, boy.
Look, my
Hey.
birthday is Tuesday. I'm not ashamed. I I'm about to be 37 years old on Tuesday. I was saying I was going to be 38. I don't know how I put an extra year on my age, but I am 30. I will be 37 on Tuesday, and very proud of it.
Happy birthday. I remember 37. Barely. It was a
Barely.
long time. It was a long time ago. It's a
Well,
long
it
time
don't look
ago.
like it was that long ago.
It was. It was. I appreciate the comment, but it was. But now, happy early birthday. You doing anything special for your birthday?
My husband took me out for dinner last night, and then I don't know. I might have lunch or something with the girls. Who knows? I really don't celebrate my birthday too much. The
Because
one year that I did try to celebrate my birthday, my uncle he passed away. Matter of fact,
oh,
Friday 13th, it'll be 10. It was 10 years ago. Yesterday. So
mm,
he passed away, and we actually buried him on my birthday. And that was actually I've done talked about that on interviews before. That was actually one of the starts to my final like hoo ha. Like looking at his slideshow at the funeral, it just really made me like, you know what, I need to do something different. I don't want to
yeah.
leave. This isn't the mark I want to leave on the earth. So
Wow. The
yeah.
Lord works in
So I
mysterious
actually
ways.
I had to bury him on my birthday. And then it was weird because he was in the military, so you know they did the 21 gun salute, all of that stuff down at the cemetery. And it was like as soon as they were done, everybody started crowd, leaving the crowd. My whole family, like it's like they all turned around in one accord and turned around and was like, "Oh, happy birthday, Nicole! Oh, happy!" And I was like,
Oh, oh
"Yeah,
man.
happy
Oh
birthday, happy birthday to
what are you supposed to
me."
say? Yeah,
Yeah,
you know, woo, yeah, okay.
but hey,
Nah,
God will utilize everything. Everything He
he
would definitely
does. He
utilize.
does.
So
I,
you know,
I truly admire and appreciate your faith, and I mean that. I appreciate your joy. That's what I see in you
oh,
is just joy.
well, thank
You
you.
know,
I
that
try
it's
sometimes. Sometimes I mean, people think I'm mean until they actually speak to me. But they think all light skinned women are mean though. It's a light
what do
skin
they think
thing.
about dark folks then?
They think y'all want to buy the police. That's messed up.
Ooh.
Black is beautiful.
This is the most interesting interview I have ever done.
That's
I
but
mean,
that's the assumptions. That and
yeah,
then Trump is definitely making the assumptions even worse.
we
He making
found
the
Syria
assumptions
last
out
night.
to he making the huh?
We
Yeah,
found
you hear
Syria last.
Russia coming for us? Russia coming for us too. Hey, Russia telling their people to get their gas mask ready. Our
I
president
saw
hasn't
that.
given us not one warning. I said, should we get
You know
our
what I'm
gas
saying?
mask ready? Should we be
He
preparing for
keep going.
this?
I got this. I got this. You're right. You're right. Russia is
Yeah,
telling them. I
because he
read
got
that.
that little capsule he could go hide in. You know, that capsule that'll protect him from everything.
When
He
when you
got the
see him and
bunker.
his kids disappear, that's when it's like time to break
We're
out.
not
Yeah,
gonna see
it's
it though.
scary.
It'll be too late. We'll be somewhere choking for air. That's
Or
why
seeing
we
both of
have
us
to
live
be
in big
prepared.
cities.
That's why we have
Yeah.
to be prepared. We have to be prepared. You have to. And it's not always being prepared in a physical sense. You have to have your spirit in line correctly. Other people are out here dictating our future. Other people.
Mm-hmm.
Trump is dictating our future. The politics are dictating our future. So we could all be out here. We could go land a $30 an hour job tomorrow, and it
And be
bombs on
dead.
Thursday. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. They're right.
And your
As long as it
spirit
ain't on
was
Tuesday,
not in
right?
place. Your spirit was
Yeah.
not in place. You could go make all the money, and that's for me. That's what I realized. Like, man, I could make a lot of money. I could do, but man, my spirit is not where it's supposed to be.
It ain't worth it. It ain't
It
worth it
ain't
if your
worth
spirit
it.
ain't.
It ain't
What
worth
was
it.
it? What was
It
it?
ain't worth it.
What was the first thing?
I would rather be physically poor and spiritually rich.
What was the
For
first thing you
real.
said to me? You post a lot of political stuff on your page. I was like, yeah, I do.
Yeah, you do.
Remember you said that? Further, yeah,
That's
you
what
post a
made me
lot of
say, yeah,
political.
I do the interview.
Yeah,
I went to
it's like
your
yeah.
page. I went to your page and was like, okay, yeah, I could groove with him. Yeah, he's woke. I can deal with him.
People keep asking me, why don't you block this person or that person? Because my thing is this: I'd rather know who I'm dealing with. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? When you get where only people that agree with you
Right.
can talk to you, you get in that echo chamber and you don't hear nothing. You just reinforce what you've been thinking. I want to know that they stupid or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I want
Right.
to hear the crazy. So I mean, I don't watch Fox News. I ain't that bad. But I want to hear
Right.
the other side because every now and then somebody will say something, and I'll be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. That makes
Mm-hmm.
sense. But anyway, you
Yeah.
know what?
Yeah, because I get
I enjoy
people
talking
that
to you.
ask me that too. Like, how come you don't block all these? Why? If I block them, then they can't see the joy that I'm really having, regardless
Man,
of
you
what they think about me.
I'm telling you now. I mean, you. I know you're taking a little break, but I watch a lot of your stuff sometimes, and I'm like, this. You're just happy.
I'll be
You're just
back
happy.
on Tuesday.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I
I'll
wasn't
be
saying
back
yet,
on
but you'll be
Tuesday.
back Tuesday. But everything, because first I started watching you just posting church. It's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
Nicole B. Jones is posting. I look and I'm seeing somebody's pulpit, and I'm like, okay, she at church again. Okay,
That's
I mean, it's
Bishop
like, hey,
J.E. Moore pulpit.
okay,
You gotta
I've
have
seen.
good leadership.
I've seen several of them, and then I started seeing you working out in the gym, and then it was like every now and then you have a bad hair day, and you post about your hair day, you know, and
I got
it's
bad hair
good.
day today.
You got the good hair,
I
you
got
light skinned
bad hair
folks,
day
right?
today.
But no, but the thing about it, like I said, you were just so honest and real, and I always said I wanted to get to know Nicole, not whoever you used to be. I wanted to get to know Nicole. Nicole, like I told you, Nicole's cool people.
Nicole, all right.
Nicole
She all
is
right.
cool.
I think I'd keep her for a little while. She's still in
Yeah, yeah.
transformation, but I think I'd keep her a little while.
But you real, you down to earth. That's one thing about you. You are so down to earth. You don't put on no airs. I mean, you got on some stilettos. Nah, I don't know, but you just so you
Nah.
probably got on some Nikes or something, some old
It's
nasty
cold out
Nikes.
here. I ain't got on no stiletto.
Oh yeah, it's cold up there. Well, we
It's
hitting about
cold.
70 down here, so
Look, I'm out
I ain't
here
trying
at
to
the
rub it
park.
in, but
I gotta go pick my son up from work.
yeah,
But
that's right. We said that about an hour ago, but this has
I
been
told him
great.
I told him I'll be late. Yeah, it has been an
Yeah,
hour. Yeah.
yeah, it has
All
been.
right, we
But
should
this has
probably go
been
now.
awesome. Yeah, we good.
Huh?
But I'm still gonna call you right back in a minute, but just to do
Okay.
some final stuff. But again, thank you. I'm gonna post this when I post it on YouTube. I'll make sure I send you the link to it.
Yeah, I have my YouTube station as well. So Nicole B. Jones Davis. Y'all can check that out.
Okay, I'll make sure I put all
I
the
got
links
some.
there.
I got a little motivating things on there. Some things that might speak to your soul. Hopefully,
Nah, that's good. That's good. That's good. Did you ever go to my site, Bunny Slippers of Evil? Did you ever actually go there?
Mm-mm. I went to the
Okay,
Facebook.
okay, because on the website it's a motivating um, phrase that changes every day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
so
go
it's a little
to it.
something, something. It's a little something. I got that. I got Black History Facts of the Day.com is mine too, and that does a Black History fact every day. So yeah, I do a little something,
Hmm.
something. But anyway, seriously, this has been great. Thank you so much for your time. We done got totally off the
Well,
rails,
thank
but I
you.
appreciate it. Hey, we got to do
People
this
not
again.
even on no more anyway, so it don't matter.
I know. Hey, you know what? Hey, you know what? We having fun. But we'll be talking.
Okay. All right. I'll be
Okay,
waiting
take
for your
care.
call. All right.
All
Bye.
righty.